And one guy who got paid a lot of dough, Russell Wilson, had a very good game last week, 3 touchdowns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Start him against the Saints. They've allowed the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks this season and almost 20 fantasy points per game to home quarterbacks last season. I'm also starting Matt Ryan. Start of the season has not been great. He's got 5 picks already. He only had 7 in 2018 combined, but this figures to be a high-scoring game against the Colts, and Matty Ice is averaging right around 23 fantasy points per game in domes since 2018. My sleeper, we've talked about him a bunch. Josh Allen. Since week 13 of last year, Cole, he is the QB4 behind Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson. That is great company. And oh, by the way, the matchup this week against the Bengals is pretty good.
All right, Josh Allen, a.k.a. Ja Rule. That's your sleeper this week. So who are you sitting this week?
Not on Andy Dalton, believe it or not, but Dalton is second in passing yards right now. Only Patrick Mahomes has more. That's crazy to think, right? But this is a bad matchup against the Buffalo Bills, who have allowed an average of fewer than 12 fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. So he is going to be on my bench. So is Kirk Cousins. Believe it or not, but Kirk Cousins is 34th in pass attempts and 33rd in passing yards.
I believe that.
There's 32 teams in the National Football League. So this is a running offense in Minnesota, and Kirk Cousins is just not getting enough volume as a passer to be productive from a fantasy perspective.
All right, give me a pair of tight ends that you're really gazing at.
I'm going Darren Waller. Forget about the matchup. He is basically on the field 97% of the time. He leads the Raiders in targets, so despite the fact that maybe this isn't a great matchup against Minnesota, volume is king. I am going to continue to start him. I'm also starting Greg Olson. He's sort of been resurrected, had a huge game last week, right? And he's playing the Cardinals. They've given up big games to both TJ Hawkinson and Mark Andrews, and I would start Olson even if Cam Newton were out because he could be a safety valve for Kyle Allen.